Munich, Germany, August 1972. The Olympic Village buzzes with energy from every corner of the world. Athletes wearing their national colors, languages blending together. The greatest sporting event on earth. Competition, yes, but also unity. The Olympic ideal. Nations coming together through sport. Bruce Lee is there, not as a competitor, but as a guest. The International Olympic Committee invited him as a martial arts cultural ambassador. His films have made Kung Fu globally recognized. The IOC wants him to give demonstrations, meet athletes, represent martial arts in this celebration of human achievement. The atmosphere in 1972 Munich is complex. Cold War tensions still simmer beneath Olympic cooperation. China and Germany have complicated histories. Cultural pride runs deep. National identities are wrapped in athletic performance. In every interaction carries weight beyond the personal. In the Olympic Village cafeteria, athletes from dozens of nations gather for meals. It's a space where competitors become people, where rivals share tables, where the Olympic spirit is most visible. That's where Klaus Schneider sees Bruce Lee for the first time. Klaus is the captain of West Germany's Olympic Judo team. 6'2", 220 pounds, heavyweight division competitor. He's been training judo since age 7. 25 years of dedication, German precision, German discipline. He represents everything judo means to his country. Structure, hierarchy, traditional martial effectiveness. Klaus has strong opinions about martial arts. Judo is proven. Olympic sport. Competitive reality testing. Every technique validated through actual combat against resisting opponents. And traditional Asian martial arts like Kung Fu, in Klaus's view, are theatrical. Beautiful to watch. Culturally significant. But not combat effective against a trained judoka. He's seen Bruce Lee's movies. Impressive choreography. Superhuman speed. But it's cinema. Wires and camera angles. Klaus doesn't believe anyone, regardless of training, could actually fight the way Bruce Lee appears to fight on screen. When Klaus sees Bruce in the cafeteria, surrounded by admirers, signing autographs, the German judoka's skepticism solidifies into something harder. This movie star is here as a martial arts ambassador at the Olympics. Real athletes train their entire lives for this moment. Bruce Lee is here because he's famous. Klaus makes a decision, a public one. He walks to Bruce's table. His voice carries across the cafeteria, intentionally loud. "Mr. Lee, I've seen your films, very entertaining. But judo is real martial arts, Olympic sport, combat tested. Chinese Kung Fu is performance art." The cafeteria goes quiet. Athletes from multiple nations turn to watch. This isn't friendly conversation. This is challenge, direct, public, at the Olympics. Bruce looks up. His expression is calm. He recognizes what's happening. National pride speaking through Klaus. Cultural competition. The German judoka isn't challenging Bruce the person. He's challenging what Bruce represents. Chinese martial arts credibility at a German Olympics. "Judo is excellent," Bruce responds. His tone is respectful, not defensive. Ground fighting is something Kung Fu practitioners should study more. You've identified a real weakness in many traditional Chinese systems. Klaus wasn't expecting agreement. He was expecting argument, defensiveness. Instead, Bruce acknowledged his point. It throws Klaus off balance, makes him push harder. "Then you admit Kung Fu is inferior? On the ground, all your kicks are useless. Judo controls real combat." Bruce considers his words carefully. The cafeteria is watching. Multiple languages being spoken as athletes translate the exchange for teammates. This moment will spread beyond this room. I don't think any single system is complete. Judo has tremendous strengths. It also has limitations. All systems do. That's why I created Jeet Kune Do. Integration, not limitation. Klaus hears this as evasion. movie star rhetoric. Then demonstrate. Show me how your integrated system works against Olympic-level judo, unless you prefer to keep your skills theoretical. The challenge is explicit now, public, in front of witnesses from dozens of countries. If Bruce declines, the story becomes Kung Fu movie star, afraid to test his skills against real athlete. If Bruce accepts, the story becomes international incident at Olympics, as German judoka fights Chinese martial arts star. Bruce understands the political complexity. This isn't just about two martial artists testing skills. It's about national representation, cultural pride, international relations. One wrong move and it becomes a diplomatic problem. I'll demonstrate with you, Bruce says. But not here, not public. Let's find a private training space. Just technical exchange between martial artists. Not spectacle. Klaus considers. He wanted public validation, but he also wants to test this movie star's actual skills. See if Kung Fu works against real judo without cameras and choreography. The judo training facility, tonight, after official training hours. Just us and few witnesses to verify what happens. Bruce nods. Agreed. Technical demonstration, not competition. Two practitioners showing their system's strengths and weaknesses. The arrangement is made. Word spreads through the Olympic Village faster than official announcements. German judo captain challenges Bruce Lee to private demonstration. Tonight, the judo facility. Before we continue this incredible Olympic encounter, if you're fascinated by these international martial arts moments that nearly became diplomatic incidents, hit subscribe and turn on notifications. These are the stories where cultural pride, national identity, and martial arts mastery collided on the world stage. Now let's see what happened when German Olympic judo met Jeet Kune Do behind closed doors. The Olympic judo training facility is designed for elite preparation. Tatami mats cover the floor, proper Olympic standards. This is where judokas from every nation refine techniques between competition rounds. Tonight, it serves a different purpose. Klaus arrives with 4 teammates, fellow judokas, Olympic competitors. They'll serve as witnesses, verify what happens. In Klaus's mind, they'll confirm that Olympic judo dominates movie Kung Fu. Bruce arrives alone. He's wearing simple training clothes, black pants, fitted shirt. No traditional martial arts uniform, no ceremony. Just a practitioner ready to demonstrate his system. The 6 athletes from other nations have also gathered. Word spread. They want to watch. Swedish wrestlers, American boxers, Japanese karateka. The Olympic community is small. News travels fast. Everyone wants to see this technical exchange. An Olympic official is also present. A German sports administrator named Dieter Hoffmann. He's there unofficially, making sure this doesn't become an international incident. If things go wrong, if someone gets injured, if this becomes public scandal, it's his responsibility to manage damage control. Klaus and Bruce bow to each other. Respectful. Traditional martial arts protocol despite the tension. Rules? Klaus asks. No rules, Bruce responds. Real demonstration. You use judo. I use Jeet Kune Do. We show each other what works and what doesn't. The first clean control or submission ends the exchange. Klaus nods. He's confident. He outweighs Bruce by 80 pounds. He's been training judo longer than Bruce has been alive. On the ground, judo's domain, size, and technique matter. Movie choreography doesn't. They begin. Klaus moves forward. Not rushing. Controlled aggression. He's looking for grips. Judo starts with controlling opponent's GI, establishing dominant grip position. From there, throws become available. Ground control follows. Bruce isn't wearing a gi, just the fitted shirt. Klaus adjusts. He'll grab fabric. Establish control anyway. His hands reach for Bruce's shoulders and collar. Bruce's response is immediate. His hands intercept Klaus's wrists, not blocking, redirecting. Klaus feels his reaching arms being guided at angles that make completing the grip difficult. Every time he adjusts to grab, Bruce's hands are there first, controlling his wrists, making gripping impossible. Klaus changes strategy. He drops his level, shoots for a low takedown. Judo includes wrestling techniques. Drive forward, grab legs, take the opponent to the ground where Judo dominates. Bruce's positioning changes. He angles his body, 45 degrees. Klaus's takedown attempt passes through space where Bruce was standing a fraction of a second earlier. The German judoka's momentum carries him forward. Off balance, Bruce's hand touches Klaus's shoulder. Light contact, a pressure point between the deltoid and trapezius. Klaus feels sudden weakness in his arm, not paralysis, just temporary disruption. His attempted takedown loses power. 6 seconds have elapsed. Klaus resets. He's breathing harder now, and not from exhaustion, from mental effort. This small Chinese man is making Olympic-level judo techniques fail, not through superior strength, through positioning, timing, understanding of human biomechanics that Klaus has never encountered. The watching athletes are silent. They're seeing something unexpected. Klaus Schneider is one of Germany's best judokas, Olympic team captain. He should be dominating a lighter opponent. Instead, he can't establish any control. Klaus commits fully now. A major judo throw. Osoto gari, major outer reap, one of judo's most powerful techniques. Drive forward, hook opponent's leg, use your body weight to send them crashing backward. He executes perfectly. Textbook form, the kind of throw that wins Olympic medals. His leg hooks behind Bruce's, his upper body drives forward. Everything technically correct. Now Bruce doesn't resist the throw. That would be fighting against momentum. Instead, he moves with it. As Klaus drives forward, Bruce rotates, uses Klaus's own forward momentum, redirects it at an angle Klaus didn't anticipate. The throw that should have sent Bruce crashing to the mat instead sends both men tumbling, but Bruce controls the descent. As they fall, his hands find specific points on Klaus's GI. His legs hook Klaus's. They hit the mat, but Bruce is in position. Klaus, despite initiating the throw, finds himself in a disadvantageous position. Now they're on the ground. Judo's domain. Klaus should have overwhelming advantage here. This is what he's trained for his entire life. Ground control, submissions, position dominance. But Bruce's ground game is different than Klaus expected. It's not traditional judo. It's not Brazilian jiu-jitsu. It's something hybrid. Bruce uses pressure points even on the ground. His positioning focuses on attacking nerve clusters. His movement is more fluid than the positional dominance judo emphasizes. Klaus tries to establish standard judo positions, side control, mount, positions that use weight advantage. But every time he thinks he's established position, Bruce's hands find a pressure point, a nerve strike, a joint manipulation at an angle judo doesn't typically address. 12 seconds have passed. Klaus is frustrated now. His Olympic-level judo isn't working the way it should. This smaller man is neutralizing techniques that have won Klaus national championships, not through superior judo, through something else, something that exists outside the framework of how Klaus understands ground fighting. Bruce speaks while they grapple. His voice is calm, educational. You're trying to control my position. I'm trying to control your nervous system. Different strategies. Judo is excellent for what it does, but it doesn't address pressure points, nerve disruption. That's the gap. Klaus makes one final effort. A submission attempt. Armbar. Classic judo finish. He has Bruce's arm extended. The position is technically correct. This should end the demonstration. but Bruce's free hand touches a point on Klaus's forearm. The radial nerve again. Klaus's grip weakens involuntarily. The submission that should be locked in becomes escapable. Bruce withdraws his arm, touches another pressure point on Klaus's neck, the carotid sinus. Not hard, just enough pressure to demonstrate the opening. Klaus understands. If this was real combat, that neck strike would have ended everything, not through judo technique. Through anatomical knowledge, judo doesn't emphasize. 16 seconds after they began grappling on the ground, Klaus taps, the universal signal of submission. Not because Bruce submitted him with a judo technique, because Bruce demonstrated that his system could exploit vulnerabilities that Olympic judo doesn't address. The training facility is absolutely silent. The watching athletes just witnessed Olympic-level judo being neutralized by a martial arts system, most of them dismissed as movie choreography. Klaus sits up. His breathing is heavy, not from physical exhaustion, from mental recalibration. Everything he believed about martial arts hierarchy just shifted. Judo isn't inferior, but it's not complete. This Chinese martial artist just proved that gaps exist in even the most tested systems. Bruce extends his hand, helps Klaus to his feet. His expression shows no triumph, no superiority, just respect between practitioners. "Your judo is excellent," Bruce says. "Your throws are technically perfect. Your ground control is Olympic level, but you've never trained against someone who attacks your nervous system. That's not a weakness in you. It's a gap in judo's curriculum." Klaus is processing. His pride is wounded, but his intellectual honesty won't let him deny what just happened. "Your pressure points, your nerve strikes, I've never encountered that. Judo doesn't teach defense against those techniques. And Jeet Kune Do doesn't teach the level of throwing and ground control that judo does. That's why I said no system is complete. As your judo could teach me things, my pressure point knowledge could teach you things. Integration makes us both better." One of Klaus's teammates speaks up, a younger judoka named Friedrich. "Could you show us those pressure points? How to strike them? How to defend against them?" Bruce looks at Klaus. This is the German captain's decision, his training facility, his team. Klaus considers. His ego wants to refuse, but his martial artist's mind recognizes opportunity. "Please, show us." For the next 40 minutes in that Olympic judo training facility, Bruce Lee teaches pressure point techniques to German judokas. He shows them where nerves are vulnerable, how to strike them. More importantly, how to defend against such strikes, how to position their bodies to protect vulnerable points while executing judo techniques. While the German judokas show Bruce advanced throwing techniques, details of kazushi, off-balancing, how to set up throws by reading opponent's weight distribution, ground control positions. Bruce hasn't trained extensively. Subscribe and turn on notifications because we have more Olympic encounters coming that prove martial arts integration transcends cultural boundaries. These stories show how competition becomes cooperation when egos give way to learning. Drop a comment about what surprised you most. Now let's see the lasting impact of this encounter. The technical exchange that started as a challenge evolves into genuine collaboration. Athletes from other nations join. The Swedish wrestlers contribute their techniques. The Japanese karateka share their striking methods. The American boxers demonstrate their footwork. And the Olympic judo facility becomes a laboratory of martial arts integration. Different systems, different philosophies, different cultural approaches to combat, all being shared openly because ego stepped aside for education. Dieter Hoffmann, the German Olympic official, watches with fascination. He came prepared to manage a diplomatic incident. Instead, he's witnessing international cooperation. martial artists from competing nations learning from each other. This is what the Olympics should be. Not just competition, exchange, integration, unity through sport. Klaus and Bruce develop genuine respect. The German judoka asks questions about Jeet Kune Do philosophy. Bruce asks about judo's competitive training methods. They discover commonalities beneath surface differences. Both systems value efficiency, and both emphasize using opponent's force. Both require years of dedicated practice. I challenged you because I thought Kung Fu was inferior, Klaus admits. I was wrong, not because Kung Fu is superior, because I was thinking in hierarchies. One system better than another. You think in integration, taking the best from everything. Judo has been doing that since its creation, Bruce responds. Jigoro Kano took the best techniques from multiple jujutsu schools and created something new. That's integration. That's what I'm doing with Jeet Kune Do. You and I are doing the same thing with different starting points. The realization creates a bond. These men aren't rivals. They're practitioners on parallel paths, both trying to transcend the limitations of single-system thinking. As the session ends, Klaus makes a proposal. Or after the Olympics, would you visit Germany? Teach seminars. Our judo community could benefit from your knowledge. Bruce agrees. And I'd like to continue learning judo. Your throwing techniques could enhance Jeet Kune Do. Maybe we establish an exchange program. German judokas train at my school. I train with your judo teams. Plans are made. Contact information exchanged. What began as a public challenge in an Olympic cafeteria ends as the foundation for long-term martial arts collaboration between Chinese Kung Fu and German Judo. The other athletes who witnessed the exchange leave with their own insights. They've seen that martial arts aren't about national superiority or system dominance. They're about human movement, biomechanics, effectiveness. The best approach is integration, not isolation. 2 weeks later, a tragedy strikes the Munich Olympics. Palestinian terrorists take Israeli athletes hostage. 11 people die. The Olympic village that represented international cooperation becomes a scene of violence and death. Klaus Schneider, like everyone at those Olympics, is forever changed by the tragedy. The idealism of athletic competition shattered by political violence. The joy of international cooperation destroyed by hatred. In the aftermath, Bruce Lee sends Klaus a letter, not about martial arts, about shared humanity, about how the best of what they did together, different cultures learning from each other, egos set aside for mutual growth, represents the opposite of the violence that destroyed the games. Klaus keeps that letter for the rest of his life. In the darkness of the Munich massacre, Bruce's words remind him that integration, that respect and learning transcend national boundaries and political hatred. The martial arts exchange they planned continues. Klaus visits Bruce's school in Los Angeles in 1973. Bruce travels to Germany, but never completes the trip. He dies in July 1973, 32 years old. The collaboration they envisioned ends before it fully begins. Klaus is devastated. This man who challenged him, who beat him, who then taught him, who became his friend, is gone. The integration of German Judo and Jeet Kune Do will never be fully realized. But Klaus continues the work. He integrates pressure point techniques into his judo teaching. He trains his students to defend against strikes to nerve clusters. He teaches them that no system is complete, that learning from other martial arts makes judo stronger, not weaker. Now, his approach spreads through German Judo. Other instructors adopt similar integration. By the 1980s, German judokas are known for their defensive awareness against strikes. for their understanding of pressure points, for their willingness to learn from other systems. The 16 seconds Klaus spent on the ground with Bruce Lee changed the trajectory of his martial arts life. Not because he lost, because he learned. Not because his judo was inferior, because his thinking was limited. Decades later, when Brazilian jiu-jitsu and mixed martial arts proved that integration defeats specialization, Klaus tells his students, "I learned this in 1972. Bruce Lee showed me that the future of martial arts is integration. Not Kung Fu versus Judo. Kung Fu and Judo. All effective systems combined into something greater." The footage doesn't exist. The demonstration was private. No cameras recorded 16 seconds of ground fighting that changed a German Olympic captain's understanding of martial arts. But 15 witnesses saw it. They told others. The story spread through martial arts communities. Bruce Lee demonstrated Jeet Kune Do against Olympic-level judo, showed pressure points work on the ground, proved integration beats specialization, then spent an hour teaching techniques to the same judokas who challenged him. The political complexity of that moment is often forgotten. 1972, Munich, Cold War tensions, cultural pride wrapped in athletic achievement, a Chinese martial artist and a German judoka representing more than just their individual skills, national identity, cultural credibility, international prestige. But Klaus and Bruce transcended politics, and they chose learning over ego, integration over dominance, cooperation over competition. In that choice, they demonstrated the best of what martial arts can be, not systems fighting for supremacy, practitioners sharing knowledge. The Munich Olympics are remembered for tragedy, the massacre, the death, the darkness. But in one Olympic judo facility, for 40 minutes, there was light. Different nations, different systems, different cultures, learning from each other, growing together. 16 seconds of ground fighting, 40 minutes of technical exchange, friendships that transcended borders, collaboration that survived even death. The integration Klaus and Bruce began in 1972 continues today in every mixed martial arts gym, where judokas learn striking and strikers learn grappling. Munich, 1972. A German judoka challenged a Chinese martial artist, not in competition for medals, but in pursuit of truth. Who won? Both did. Who lost? Only the idea that one system could be complete without learning from others. Klaus Schneider never won an Olympic medal, but he won something more valuable. Understanding that mastery requires humility, that strength comes from integration, that the highest expression of martial arts isn't defeating opponents, but learning from them. 16 seconds changed everything, not the 16 seconds of the demonstration. The 16 seconds Klaus spent realizing his judo, while excellent, was incomplete. That recognition, that intellectual honesty, that willingness to learn from someone who approached combat differently, made Klaus a better martial artist and a better person. Bruce Lee's legacy includes many things: movies, philosophy, Jeet Kune Do. But perhaps the most important legacy is the example he set. Integration over isolation. Learning over defending. Growing beyond the limitations of any single system. That's what happened in Munich. That's what those 16 seconds demonstrated. Not that Jeet Kune Do defeated judo. That practitioners who choose integration over ego can transform challenge into collaboration, competition into cooperation, conflict into friendship. The Olympic ideal realized not on the competition floor, but in a training facility after hours. Not through winning, but through learning. Not through dominance, but through mutual growth. Two martial artists from different worlds finding common ground in their shared pursuit of effectiveness and truth.